Welcome back, everybody, to Plaid Couch. Today, we all had the thought, since we all love Marvel Rivals so much, and half of us are Disney adults. What if?
Which half? Which half?
That's for the audience to let us know in the comments.
Okay, that was important. I just need to get that in. Continue.
We thought it'd be fun to do a what if Disney made a Marvel Rivals / Overwatch type game. So,
Paladins.
Yep, the one no one played. The order we're picking, so we each have 2 vanguards, 2 duelists, 2 supporters, and a map designed for this. And we'll kind of go in snake order. So I'll start, then it'll be Matthew, then Burguy, then Jaylene, and then Jaylene you'll go, and then we'll just go back and forth. You can go in whatever order you want. So if you want to start with the duelist, start with the duelist. But we'll also kind of describe what they do and if there's anything unique about them. So, this first pick, no surprise to no one whatsoever, based on my reputation in our friend group. But my first vanguard is going to be Hercules.
Oh my god, no way.
I know.
Holy.
I know.
Whoa!
I have his primary attack is him swinging his sword. If there's one thing I love doing in Marvel Rivals, it's getting in close combat. So he is primarily a dive tank. His secondary, he can raise his shield. And then his abilities, he can sprint into battle. When sprinting, he can lower his shield and use his head to deal damage and knock back enemies. And then he can also bend his sword and throw it, and I put a 10-foot radius, but none of us are game developers, so I'm sure they have a science to it, but it basically makes a circle around him doing damage to anyone in that circle.
10 units.
Yeah. And then his ultimate ability is Zero to Hero. And that's where he channels the power of Olympus and leaves a trail that gives him and his allies demigod attributes, bonus health, and boost attack damage. So, yeah. My main in Marvel Rivals is Captain America, and I thought, what if I made him better? Slightly. Because I dive in there.
They did.
They did.
They did just buff Cap.
Yep. But like his attribute where he throws the sword, that's more of a close by where you're diving in the middle of everyone and then using that. You're basically running in and out of combat to deal as much damage as possible and then using your shield to take hits.
Is any of this inspired by the movie
Yeah.
Hercules? I haven't seen it.
Yeah,
'Cause I was
You haven't
thinking.
seen Hercules?
come on over, bud.
Hold on. I lost my
Hercules Knight.
I seen it as a kid. I don't remember it.
Oh.
Just play Kingdom
but-
Hearts 3.
You
Learn
know
all
what?
about
After
'em.
this
Yeah.
Discord call, just close your eyes and I will describe the entire movie to you.
Okay. But
I'll
He
I was
actually
act
has
it
the
out.
whole script memorized.
what's the dude's name? Phil?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was thinking
Danny
Phil
DeVito.
could be on Hercules' shoulder at all times, and instead of you screaming at your teammates, he could just say all the slurs for you. You have keybinds for
Well,
each slur.
Get up on the
I
Hydra's
do
back.
have a character that has a passive ability. Not that, but it does affect like the in-game chat, so
Okay.
Oh, chat, you're cooked.
but that is my first one. Maddie, who is your first character?
All right, so I'm just gonna be straight with you guys. I've played a lot of RPGs in my life, so my abilities are a little in depth. So, my first
So
Vanguard
basically-
is gonna.
So basically, he just said that he's smarter than us, is what that was.
He is.
No, I'm a huge nerd when it comes to this
Yeah.
shit. So
Gotcha.
my
okay.
first
all-
Vanguard
We're
is
all
gonna be
fucking jocks.
the Horned King from Black Cauldron.
Okay.
The horny king.
The Horned
what he said.
King.
Horned up.
That's a good
So-
pick.
His first ability is Curse of the Cauldron, a spell that causes opponents to lose health over time while also reducing their attack speed. His second ability, Shadow Horde, an ability that summons a swarm of dark skeletal minions that attack the opponent and distract them. His third ability is Unholy Aura, an aura that deals damage to opponents who get too close, also weakening their defenses. And his ultimate is Dark Lord's Fury. The Horned King becomes empowered, increasing his own health and attack power. He then unleashes a massive dark energy blast that deals massive damage to all opponents within its area of effect.
Hell yeah.
Pick.
All right.
I had him on my list of like possibilities. My first rough draft where I was just listing people down, and I was like, Matthew is gonna take him for sure.
Yep.
There were two people that I knew for sure you were gonna take, and that was one of them. That is a really good pick.
It is.
I'm surprised two different
you.
people thought of the Horned King from the Black
Well-
Cauldron.
I was like looking at Disney villains, and I was like, a lot of these don't do much. And I was like, well, he's at least something.
Yeah.
I just pulled up a list of every single Disney movie and was just writing down characters that I remembered from each one that
Holy
I liked
shit.
and were cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah. That was my sister. And I got down the Black Cauldron, and there were two names that I wrote down, but I won't spoil the second one in case someone wants to pick it.
Rooney Doodle from the
Fergie.
Black Cauldron.
It was not Gurgi. He did not
Gurgi.
even make the rough draft.
Gurgi's gonna be the Galactica. He's just gonna announce
If somebody-
every match.
He's so cute. Just
God,
give him
no.
the apple.
I would
I would
fucking hate
never
that.
play that game. Gurgi was the announcer.
Jesus.
you
Maybe
imagine
on the
Gurgi
April
as a
Fool's Day
tank?
patch.
Hmm.
It's like, wow.
I did have an idea. I did have an idea for an announcer if we want to add that to the end.
Mickey Mouse.
Xander Mobius?
Bob
Mickey
Iger.
Mouse is a good pick, but I have what I think is a better one.
Bob Iger.
Jiminy Cricket.
Oh. You guys
like
don't
it.
know Disney. Have you guys ever
I like
heard an
it.
earnings call from Bob Iger?
I
Live?
know who Bob Iger is. I just didn't think it was funny.
You've never
Share
listened
your
to the
first
earnings call. You've never been in the trenches like me on the Robin
Oh
Hood
my
app.
god. If I can say your first pick, we're cutting all of that.
Burguy's just gonna be the announcer
Okay.
because he's so entwined with Disney.
He's a shareholder.
No, I'm
Ain't a
not
shareholder.
anymore. I'm not a shareholder
Oh,
anymore.
you let down the mouse.
Well, the mouse let me down based on the tax return.
Ferga, you're up.
Oh, okay, I'm up.
Yeah.
So,
First pick, Bob Iger.
well, one time, someone who I would play Clash Royale with,
Mhm.
he was like, they should add a troop that's a Bugatti with a cannon on it, and it's so fast, none of the other troops can catch it. That guy, that guy is in his 50s, and he's inspiring me for my first pick. Duelist, Lightning McQueen.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
Montgomery
I ha-
Lightning McQueen, by the way. If
I
you
had
guys
Lightning.
didn't know.
I had Lightning,
You had
on,
Lightning?
My, on my first draft. Yeah.
All right.
He was one
So-
of those where I thought, and I was like, I can't think of anything to do for him, so.
He's just gonna be faster than everything, but he's so big, he's still gonna be like one of the duelists that has like 250 health instead of 200. And he's just gonna run a motherfucker over, dude. And he can maybe lick people, I don't know. I didn't go way into depth like you guys did, but I did think of his ultimate. He's gonna bounce up in the air and then land and do an AoE effect,
Okay.
and it'll be like the first race in
Yeah.
Cars 1, where he bounces off the car that fucking dies in the big one.
Damn.
So,
Ka-chow.
yeah, Lightning McQueen as my first
That
duelist.
was right.
Alright.
I'm so glad somebody included somebody from Cars. I was hoping somebody would.
Yeah, I kept
So,
looking
Marty.
at that franchise trying to make something work, but I'm
I
glad.
mean, it's
I
one of their
wanted-
biggest
Oh,
things. You have to like include Cars. Though.
Yeah.
It's one of their biggest properties, and it's one of my favorite Disney movies is Cars.
Yeah. Love the sequel, right?
Yeah, all two of them.
I still haven't
What's
seen
the-
Cars 3.
I was gonna say, what's the spy one? That's the one that I heard.
Two.
Isn't...
Cars 2, yeah.
Three's the
Okay.
one where
Yeah.
McQueen dies.
Oh
I
shit!
think so. I've seen most of the movie on TikTok, and I don't remember him dying.
Well, they can't post that on TikTok. It's him unaliving
Yeah, you're
on
right.
TikTok.
Because in the
Uh.
garage in a noose.
Jesus.
No, it's a one-to-one
can't compete
recreation
anymore.
of Dale's death.
Alright, that's enough. That's
Into the
enough.
fucking wall. As
Li-
the
Lightning
fucking,
McQueen Jr.
as,
coming
as,
behind.
as Cruz drives away. And he's in the fucking wall, just all fucking mangled.
And then it just cuts to his wife Sally in the stands.
And then when Jackson Storm wins the next race, he's got the flag number 95. When he does the Polish victory lap.
That's all on Cars 3, huh?
Yeah, well, they
I
can't do
should
it
watch
1-to-1 because it's a lot harder for the crowd to hold up 95 fingers. Like when Dale died, everyone just did this. You can't hold up
They
95
burn out
fingers.
and the smoke
Also
spells
the
out
crowd.
95.
Also, the
They don't
crowd
have
doesn't have any
fingers.
fingers.
That is a good point.
My-
They turn on they turn on 95 headlights.
Dale! Wait, that's doable. You got a whole crowd
Yeah.
up in the bleachers.
All right, Jaylene, who's your
You can
first
do
pick?
that.
Can we move
Most
on
of that's
from that?
getting cut.
So my first pick, I'm gonna take my first Vanguard first. This one is one of the classics. Think early Disney movies. I'm taking Cernabog from Fantasia. If you don't know, he's basically the big devil monster
Okay.
thing in the Night on Bald Mountain sequence. Real scary, creepy, ooh kind of guy. Got a couple moves here for him. So first one is Dark Flame. So he can summon a burst of flames to hit enemies with. Shadow Punch. Same thing, he's summoning some demonic energy to then use to punch his enemies with. Fire Breath, he can reach out, grab his enemies, and breathe fire on them. And then his alt is Night on Bald Mountain. And he summons a mountain to form from underneath him that then starts bursting with lava and flames onto the battlefield. And anybody who gets close to it and like gets in it, they get ouchie, a lot of damage. And then Night on Bald Mountain plays.
That's sick as
in the
fuck,
background.
Jaylene. Holy hell.
Yeah. So that's my first pick. And then I'm gonna take my first duelist next. My first duelist is gonna be Jim Hawkins from Treasure
Ooh.
Planet.
That's a good one.
Yeah. I could not take Jim Hawkins. He's so cool. So his first move is a pistol blast. Just shoot people with a pistol. I'm assuming he could probably charge it to deal more damage. He also has a grapple gun, so he can grapple people towards him and hit them, or also shoot them if he wants. This guy sounds a little familiar, doesn't he?
They flying around
then
on
I've
his
got-
hoverboard.
He is, because his next move is a kick, flip, kick. So while
Damn.
flying on his hoverboard, he will do a kick, flick, and flip in the air, and in the process, he's gonna like kick his enemies before doing that sick ass landing. And his ultimate is called Treasure Hunter's Revenge, and he flies above the battlefield. Does a lot of quick shots, but they're very powerful. I was thinking kind of like Star-Lord's ult in Rivals is kind of like the same thing as Jim's here. So almost like a mix of like Star-Lord and Bucky is what I was going
Okay.
for with Jim Hawkins.
That's sick. Good job,
and
Jaylene.
Yeah, I would be Thank you. I would be a Jim Hawkins main, and I would be insufferable about it.
He'd be a lot of fun, especially with that kick flip.
He would.
That'd be sick.
Hell yeah. Kick, flip, kick.
All right.
Okay.
I'm gonna. Oh, we're done.
Yeah, go
Next
ahead.
pick, me. I'm gonna take a supporter here.
Okay.
I'm gonna take Sir Tow Mater from the movie Cars.
Shit.
And he's a support because, like, we'll start with his ultimate. It's like, how can Mater be a support? He is gonna be like a resurrecting
Okay.
hero, right? So, like, when you die in this game, you're dead and buried in the fucking dirt, right? And Tow Mater uses his hook and he pulls you out, like pulling a car out of a ditch. Because he's a tow truck, he can do that. His other abilities are all gonna have to do with his hook. He's gonna be able to wrap you up, kind of like Penny Parker. I know the Marvel characters. Wrap you up in the hook. You can yank you. The wrap is the stun, and the yank is just like a roadhog. Get over here. And he's not like a big heal, but he's like your tricky little guy as a supporter. And just a big, powerful resurrecting ult. So that's Mater for my. What's up?
Can I be 100% for real with you right now?
Did you have Mater?
I also had Tomater written down as a possible strategist. And I wanted to pick him so bad, but I was like, no.
And I get the pair up. Oh, the other thing I wanted to mention,
Team up.
because all of his abilities have
called
to
a
do with
pair
his
up.
hook. Yeah, pair up.
Oh, sorry.
Pal
Got
up.
it.
Yeah.
Pal up. We're all pals. But all of his abilities have to do with his hook, and it's behind him. It's like, how are you going to do that? How are you going to aim that? Mater only drives in reverse. So you're always... The camera's always... and
You're always
you can
looking at
see-
Mater when you play him.
Yeah.
That's
So imagine
big.
I'm Mater, and you're the
Yep.
controller. You're looking at Mater's face, and everything is behind him, and he's always like...
Ah, shit. Got a 7-point
in the
turn
movie-
coming up. Let me just...
In the movie Cars, he teaches Lightning to drive backwards.
Yeah.
He's like, he's as good driving
You remember
backwards
that.
as he is forwards. You got to use your mirrors. And Owen Wilson's like, I don't have
Could he-
any mirrors.
Some could argue that he's better at driving backwards.
Question.
Yeah. So
Have you just watched Cars
Yeah, what's
recently, and that's why you've picked 2 Cars characters?
I actually haven't watched Cars in years. I don't know. I just thought, like,
Oh man.
they were, I think, my most interesting ideas, especially Mater, with the driving backwards mechanic.
All
So I
right.
want to do
I like that a lot.
make sure I got Mater.
Yeah, I like it. I like it. Especially because I wasn't, like, going so far into team-ups because I wasn't sure how, like, many characters we'd have match up, but I already like your thinking. You're going to be on the final team. No layoffs for you.
That's good.
If we're talking team ups, I think the Horn King and Cernabog would do a sick team up.
They're like evil type.
Yeah.
Well, you could have types.
Ooh.
So
Cars type.
car type and
Evil
evil
type,
type.
good
so
type.
Far.
All right, Maddie,
Hercules type.
who's your next character?
Awesome. I'm gonna pick my DPS because I really don't want him to. So I'm gonna go with one of my DPSs, and that's Aladdin.
All right.
So
Good pick.
his first ability is called Street Urchin. Aladdin can move through shadows, allowing him to position, escape danger, or set up ambushes. He also gains temporary invisibility while in the shadows.
Like a Symmetra
Second.
type.
Second is Magic Carpet Ride. Aladdin summons his magic carpet, allowing him to rapidly glide across the battlefield, evading attacks and quickly closing the distance to enemies. He can also use the carpet to lift and toss enemies, dealing damage and potentially stunning them. And his third ability, Cunning Thief. Aladdin can steal a small portion of health from enemies, converting it into temporary shield for himself. This ability reflects his experience as a street thief in Agrabah. And then his ultimate is the Genie's Wish. Aladdin unleashes a burst of magical energy, calling up. The genie appears, granting Aladdin a temporary boost to his speed, damage, and health. The genie also casts a spell on nearby enemies, reducing their damage output and movement speed. Aladdin can then follow up with a powerful combo attack, striking all affected enemies in Genie's radius.
Hell yeah. I had a feeling that somebody else might have had Aladdin on their list.
That I think that was
Or
the
close.
toughest
He was
thing
definitely up there for me.
about this is being like, who is going to pick a character? Like, who do I feel is going to get locked in? Because I don't want to waste time making a character and then someone else gets to him beforehand.
Yeah. It was like, yeah.
But Aladdin, I was
That's
confident
a really good pick.
someone else had him. So nice job, Maddie.
Aladdin was one of the first ones
Thank
I
you.
thought about being a good one
Mm-hmm.
for this.
Yeah,
Just-
he almost made
okay,
it on my
so-
final list. So I'm like, no shot, I'm gonna get him.
Humor me a minute, guys. Imagine
Yes, Manny?
Aladdin's ultimate. Like, Genie comes out of the lamp that he's got, and however many enemies are in that Genie's radius, Aladdin just one strike just hits all the enemies at once. How fucking cool would that be?
I can imagine it in
Cool.
my head.
Huh?
All right. Well,
Alright, I think it's safe to say Matthew's not getting fired after that one, right? He's still allowed
Good
to work on the
answer.
project.
Good answer.
I've noticed no Gooner picks yet, so I'm gonna fix that.
I might have a
We're
couple.
start. We're
I might have a couple.
My
couple-
second
we're
Vanguard.
starting out early.
Ursula.
Sally.
Ooh.
Oh.
Damn!
Okay.
Her primary attack is her like slashing with her hands, and then her tentacles reaching out and hitting the enemies. Her secondary attack is she summons the two eels, floats them and jets them, and then they shoot orbs. Then her abilities, her first one, she throws potions that deal damage. Her second one, she throws potions that stun enemies within an AoE area. And then her third is she inks, causing the enemies to go blind.
Shit.
Oh no, she inked all over me.
Her passive ability, the enemy's in-game chat is silenced. And then her ultimate
Oh shit.
ability, Poor Unfortunate Souls. Ursula grows in size, and her tentacles dig into the ground, and then they burst, dragging all enemies within that area of effect towards her, and then she slams her fist on the ground. So,
Shit.
That's
Good
sick
pick,
as fuck.
Megan.
See, with the stealing voice thing, I was thinking more of like a silence in like RPGs where
Oh.
you wouldn't be able to use abilities. But I like being able to steal
I-
their voice chats. Like if it's a proximity
Yeah.
voice,
Yeah.
if you're within a certain radius,
Mhm.
they can't talk
That's
anymore.
awesome.
That would be sick.
Good.
Oh, that's
I mean,
fun.
it really won't have effect because like we play over Discord.
Yeah.
But just to have that nuisance, because just think in tournaments, like if this game
Yeah.
were
Yeah.
to become a tournament game, someone would just do that so
Well, like,
to counter the other team.
especially in like comp matches too.
Yeah.
Like, it would get really annoying, I think, in a
Mm-hmm.
comp match.
Yeah. All right. So then my next pick.
All right.
Yeah, I'll just keep going down the line. my first duelist is going to be Buzz Lightyear.
Oh,
I had him on my list as a tank, so
All right.
I'm intrigued. Go ahead.
Have you watched the show?
I didn't have him on my final list. I had him on my rough draft.
So his primary attack
He
is
just seems like he.
Oh, go ahead, Jaylene. Well, it's because he's stocky, so
No, that's okay.
I can see why you thought
That's
tank.
why I was thinking tank. He didn't get past my first draft when I was just jotting down ideas. If I had thought about it more, I might have switched it. But continue. Sorry.
His primary attack is he shoots using his wrist laser, and if he holds it for so long, it gets charged, dealing more damage, but that takes more of the charges he has before he needs to reload. His secondary is he can tuck and roll out of the way. He does have a double jump, and the second jump, his wings pop out, allowing him to glide. And then his next ability is his top half spins around with his wings popped out, dealing knockback damage to enemies. And then his ultimate is Infinity and Beyond. Again, his top half rotates, launching the enemies into the air this time. And then he has so many charges from his wrist laser that he auto locks onto the enemies shooting them. So it's you can hit one person and then they'd get hit with all the charges, or you could hit the whole team up and it'd disperse them between them. So
Good pick. I like it. Are you gonna try and get Tim Allen to come in and voice him in the game?
Chris Evans, actually.
I was gonna ask if
I
you were
forgot
gonna,
you played him in the Pixar movie.
if you were gonna introduce the Mexican Buzz Lightyear as a skin when he thinks he's Spanish.
Ooh.
That's actually
No, do the
one of
Tea
the-
Party one.
his passive ability. He takes so much damage it triggers his speech, so all of his lines then go into Spanish.
The Tea Party outfit would be a good skin. When he's got like the pink apron on.
that would be a good one.
I'm sure we will do this type of video again, and maybe next time we can have like different skins for the characters.
skin options.
So
That's fun.
yeah. So all right,
Like
Maddie.
Lightning
Okay.
McQueen did
That's-
have his Dynaco skin.
Ooh, that'd go tough.
All right.
Ooh.
Mater with his Dynaco skin.
Okay.
Oh yeah. Why did I forgot that was a thing?
All right. So I'm gonna
Eddie,
pick my
what's your
first
next pick?
support.
He-
It's Yin Sid from Fantasia. The wizard that
Ooh,
taught.
okay.
So
Yeah.
for his first ability, Arcane Barrage, Yin Sid unleashes a rapid, unpredictable barrage of magical spells at his enemies, each dealing moderate damage. The spells adapt to the enemy's positions and types, ensuring maximum effectiveness. Now, you guys can you guys can flame me all you want, but his second ability is Resurrection Circle. So he has a resurrection ability, but it's not his ultimate.
Okay.
Because I think the ultimate is a lot more devastating and should not be an ability. But anyway, so his second ability, Resurrection Circle. Yin Sid creates a glowing mystical circle on the ground that slowly expands to encompass fallen allies within its area of effect. When an ally enters the circle, they are resurrected with a portion of their health restored and gain temporary invincibility for a short duration.
All right.
I had to get a resurrector in there.
Well,
because,
I mean that's not completely broken because Rocket has his thing that revives one character.
Oh,
I
so
was
that's
just
true.
thinking
So
Rocket
I
right
figured
there.
it'd
I
be
was
some.
actually thinking
Yeah.
of. I was thinking of when they moved Mercy's
Oh.
resurrection to an ability.
Gotcha. Okay, I don't feel so bad anymore.
Yeah, see, Bird Guy, you have the advantage
his third
since
ability-
you're Overwatch guy.
Yeah, I'm a grizzled veteran
Huh?
of this.
Thank you for
His
your
third
service.
ability is astral projection. Yin Sid can temporarily leave his physical body, project his consciousness into the ether, allowing him to scout the enemy's position, manipulate objects to gain valuable insight and strategic advantages.
All right.
And for his ultimate, Cosmic Conjure, Yin Sid focuses his immense magical power to summon a powerful celestial entity, such as a comet, star, or planet, to crash down on the enemy team, dealing catastrophic damage and possibly even wiping them out entirely.
Jesus. So he's gonna get nerfed like the first patch update.
Well,
that we
it's
do.
Yin Sid, the guy that he can already. His
Just
aura
make
is
him
already
fat and slow.
overpowered.
Watch. It's gonna be like the most hardcore animation, but it's like just a little tick of health, and it's like, oh, come on. Sorry, after a lot
All
of beta
that for a drop
testing,
of
we had to nerf them.
I imagine, say the enemy team is like invading the spawn point, and then Yin Sid uses astral projection to go behind the team, and he's like, and then a whole fucking planet just comes from the sky and hits the enemy team. That'd be sick as fuck.
I like how we have 2 Fantasia characters in here. That makes me really happy.
Yeah,
We're getting
Fantasia's
some oldie support here. Oh, it's such a good movie.
All right, Bird Guy, who's your next one?
Yeah.
So I picked a duelist and I picked a strategist. I need a vanguard.
Well,
I'm gonna take like a really like big guy here
all right.
as like a big tank. I'm gonna take Mac from the movie Cars. And
Wait, Bird Guy, is your whole list cars?
huh?
Is your whole list cars?
Yeah, he's like a vanguard because he's so big. So he can
Okay.
block damage with his
Yes.
trailer. He's gonna be able to block damage with his trailer, right?
Okay.
His primary attack is probably just gonna be like run people over because he's a big truck. But if you drive too much, he gets sleepy, right? So you can't keep using it. He'll get sleepy and he'll fall asleep. And then his ultimate is going to be, like, as a big protector, everybody can get in his trailer, and then they're all invulnerable, and he can transport them wherever. Like, if you're having trouble getting to the objective, everybody gets in Mac's trailer, and he just drives you to the objective.
I didn't know if that was gonna be like Doctor Strange's portals, or if that was gonna be his ultimate. So
I think that has to be his ultimate.
yeah. Yeah, if
You can-
he can negate all that damage for those characters, then yeah, I understand that reasoning.
Who'd you say that was?
Mac.
Mac.
Mac? I can't picture him in my head.
The big trailer that
Oh,
the
yeah,
3
okay, yeah,
awesome
they're-
cars were making fun
Yeah.
of.
Gotcha.
You get sleepy?
Okay. It's
That's
been a
why I
minute since
did
I've
that.
seen Cars.
All
Yeah.
my stuff is based
know
on,
now.
like, whatever movie the character is from.
Yeah.
I watched Cars last night.
That makes sense. No, you didn't.
And yet no cars?
Yeah, you're right.
Well, you don't want
We're
too
only
many
halfway through,
characters
Megan.
from the same movies.
That's fair. That's fair. Especially because there's such a wide variety.
Right. There's a lot of Disney properties we could
Alright.
be using. I'm waiting for someone to pick
Is there
the
anything?
Rookie.
Do you have anything else to say about Mac before I go?
I think it's
no.
your turn, Jaylene.
Okay. I'm gonna take my first support here, and I'm gonna go with Pocahontas. So her first move being Leaf Strike. So she takes a gust of wind with some leaves to hit enemies with. Then she can do Wind Gust, again summoning a gust of wind. That she could use to damage enemies, but also push them, kind of like Invisible Woman does in Rivals, where she just push people away. And then she could do Healing Waters, so she can manipulate water add some healing properties to it, and use it to provide healing to her teammates. And her ultimate is Colors of the Wind. So she summons a large gust of wind. She gets covered with leaves flowing around her. She starts singing one of the best Disney songs ever written, and kind of protects the whole team that stays in that
Part of
circle.
your world?
So basically, that's a good one too. But basically, like Luna Snow's ultimate, but she's singing Colors of the Wind, and there's a bunch of nature stuff around her.
Jaylee,
So-
I'm falling in love with your team.
I honestly didn't think of
Thank
Pocahontas.
you.
And I'm ashamed of myself.
I figured you would have.
Yeah, I know. Maybe it's because it's too close to
I
home.
wasn't gonna say it.
You
Oh,
know what?
It's
You know
too
what I mean?
sad.
And they did whitewash her a little bit, so that makes sense.
Yeah.
But I am going to take. I'm going to take my second Vanguard next, and I'm going to pick Ralph from Wreck-It Ralph.
He was on my list.
So, was he?
Oh,
I'm
was.
sorry.
the
I
first
didn't think
official
anybody would
character
take Ralph.
stolen.
He
was
was
not
he was a fourth backup
Oh.
for my Vanguard.
Maddie's trying to
Oh, okay,
undersell
so
it
he
now.
wasn't like one of your primaries.
mine.
Oh, I didn't
I don't
even
even
need him.
like
Alright, we
Ralph.
needed some drama in this video.
I didn't need him.
So for his moves, I've got Big Punch. So just using his brute force to punch enemies. I figured it's one that could also be charged to deal more damage. Next, we've got Wall Wreckage. So he can choose like certain enemies. Wall appears behind them, and then he just bashes them in the wall to do a shit ton of damage. And then we got Ground Pounder, just taking enemies and pounding them into the ground. And then his ultimate is Ralph's Rampage. So Ralph just dials up his super strength, his super speed to pummel any enemies that get in his way. He's just bashing people. Basically, he's just big and beefy and stocky, and he's hard to stop.
Everything I want in a man.
But he is a sweetheart. Don't let that fool
He
you.
is caring, that's for sure.
Yeah, I love Ralph.
Yeah, Ralph would just
Good
be that solid tank option where it's like no bells and whistles. You know what you're doing.
Kind of like the whole,
Yeah.
except for you don't have to worry about switching to Bruce Banner. It's like now we're just going in and fucking people
Reckon.
up. Wrecking Ralph.
All right, Burr guy. Who's your next pick? I have a feeling it could be something, but
My next pick is gonna be another supporter.
okay.
I'm gonna take Guido here from the movie Cars. He's the little blue forklift.
Yep.
So he's
Is that the
I want to
Italian?
remember.
huh?
Is that the Italian?
Yeah. He's friends
Hell
with
yeah.
Luigi.
Yeah, the one that
Yeah.
So
bolts in the tires real fast.
yeah.
Yeah.
So he's gonna be able to lift teammates up to places you normally couldn't reach. Right? Up a ledge. Normally you'd have
Whoa,
to take the
strategic
stairs, but now
advantage.
you can get flanks off because he's a forklift, he'll lift you up there. He can't follow you up because he can't lift himself up.
That's an OSHA
Right.
violation if he does
That's
that.
fair, yeah.
Right. He couldn't do that. He has two little prongs. That's gonna deal some damage. You can lift the enemy up for a temporary stun, and you can take them wherever you want. Like a few seconds, take them to your backline, push them off the map, stuff like that. And then his ultimate ability is gonna be called Pit Stop, and just all his stuff gets advanced. He's gonna be able to heal everybody up to full health quickly, and then give them all movement boosts. Kind of like in a pit stop where you change everybody's tires. And maybe this will give a boost to like other like car type characters that might be on your team.
In case anyone made a Cars character,
Yeah, does anybody have any car type characters?
I think so, but we might get one later
Yeah.
on as we go.
I may have one
We
or
could
two.
always add them to updates too.
Right.
You know, like
Yeah.
future patch updates.
Season 1.5.
Like additions, yeah.
Like we could always
fragmentary
add
passage.
we could always add what is it, Mickey Mouse's car that makes faces? From the old cartoons.
I'm only.
I guess it's not in a
28.
movie though, so
I
that
don't know
doesn't
what
count.
That is.
Oh, sorry. Forgot I'm old as fuck.
All right, Maddie.
You're only 42, Jaylene.
What?
I said you're only 42.
41 and a half. Jesus.
A fragmentary passage.
Shut up. What is your next pick, jackass?
Maddie, who's your next pick?
I thought it was your turn, Tegan.
No, you're after Bird.
Dude.
Oh, shit.
This is like the 4th pick.
All right. I'm going to go with my second Vanguard. Maleficent from Sleeping Beauty.
Good pick.
So, her first ability, Illusion Shield. Maleficent casts a powerful illusion that makes her else, allowing her to dodge attacks and counter with her own spells from a safe distance. Number 2, Shadow Strings. She creates shadowy, ethereal threads that bind and immobilize opponents, leaving them vulnerable to her teammates' attacks. Number 3, Enchantress's Gaze. Maleficent can fix an opponent with a mesmerizing stare, rendering them unable to attack for a short time as they are enthralled by her beauty and dark magic. During this time, she can move in for a devastating melee magic attack. And her ultimate, Dragon's Eye. Maleficent transforms into her dragon form, becoming immune to all damage while her green flames burn the opponents and heals team members in the flame.
Why are all your picks badass? Matthew's not fucking around.
Matthew's not thinking
told you,
about
I was gonna
balance.
form
He's
a new
just
world.
like, I want characters to fuck up everyone else.
Matthew's like, what characters will need to be nerfed after the game comes out?
We're all gonna be busy day one of release.
I
Making
want
these
my
patches.
opponents to feel the fear. Damn.
Jesus.
Great pick though, Maddie. Great pick.
Good answer.
Yeah, that's a really good pick.
Yeah.
I really liked Maleficent's dragon form in the movie, and I wanted that as one of her ultimate.
Yeah, you.
She almost made my list, but that was another one where I was like, someone will take her for sure.
Mm-hmm.
But she was in my reserves.
Yeah. For me, my next duelist, I'm gonna call an audible, and maybe next video I'll have this person in there. So I'll go with a backup I had, Stitch, from Lilo and Stitch. His primary attack
Good pick.
is using his plasma blasters, and then his secondary is using his claws to scratch at enemies. Then his abilities. His first one is he can chomp down on a nearby enemy. His second ability is he can shoot out his little spines, and they deal damage for so many seconds after an enemy is hit. And then his third ability is he spits, and it's basically the same thing as the spines, where it deals damage for so long after the enemy is hit. He has a passive ability where he can climb on walls and crawl on the ceiling as well. So he's just going to be that duelist that pisses you off because he's just going all over the place.
As soon as
Sounds
you said
like
Stitch,
Iron
I'm like,
Fist.
I
was
already hate
just
him.
gonna say the fuckers who made Iron Fist are going to main Stitch. As soon as you said Stitch's name, I'm like, those motherfuckers.
Well, and then
I know it's
his
gonna be the same dudes.
his ultimate is Stitch to the rescue, and this is where he goes into his full like alien mode, and then just starts slashing all nearby enemies. So
Also another skin idea for Stitch. Him in the Elvis costume.
Oh, hell yeah.
a reskin of him just
That would
being
be a sick
Ruben,
skin.
the more intellectual experiment, but he just
Oh!
loves making sandwiches.
Did I
Yeah,
not?
that would be awesome.
Yeah,
Did I
that's his
not watch
backstory.
Lilo
He
and
has
Stitch? I
all
don't
the
know
same
anything
powers
about
as
what you're
Stitch,
talking about.
but his intelligence is like super
He was
high.
just in the show, though.
Yeah.
But
Wasn't
I
he
don't
just in the
remember
show,
him
not in
having
the movie?
fucking spines either.
No, because he didn't
Dude,
use
it's
them.
been a while,
He-
and the new one's not out yet.
He's just like, I'm gonna make sandwiches.
He didn't use the spines in the Super Bowl ad.
Poor guy doesn't have time to watch the classics because he's been watching Cars like 100 times a week. So
Why would you even say that,
I haven't watched
Jaylene?
Cars in forever. The last movie I watched
I
was
just-
A Brave New World.
I'm seeing
Follow
that
me on
Sunday
Letterboxd if you can find it.
to date this video.
not
I'm
gonna
seeing
tell-
that in
I'm
2
not
days.
gonna tell them what it is, but if they can find it,
Go find it. Shit. Tag and I like that pick.
My next one will be my first supporter. This is a pretty obvious choice, Rapunzel.
Okay.
She was
Hair.
she was on my list. Not on my list, but I had her jotted
Yeah.
down. That's a good one.
Primary
really good
attack
pick.
is swinging that frying pan around. And then her secondary attack is either like she shoots lanterns or throws those like lanterns from the movie. And then they deal damage to enemies, heal allies. Next. So I actually went on like Disney.fandom.wiki to find out more powers and abilities for some of these characters. Apparently Rapunzel can make shockwaves.
Okay.
Okay.
So her first ability
remember
is
that
I
part.
believe it.
she releases a shockwave that stuns enemies and heals allies. Her second ability is she shares the power of the Sundrop Flower, which gives allies bonus health. And then her third ability is she can drop moonstones, which glow when enemies are nearby. So it's kind of...
The fucking wards in League of Legends.
Yeah. Giving you some information on where they're all going. Her passive
I
ability.
didn't buy any wards.
Her passive ability is she restores health to herself when attacks and abilities land. And then her ultimate is healing and incantation. Her hair glows, and basically any allies who interact with it are healed. So
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's a good pick. Like I said, she almost made my
Mhm.
my list.
yeah, Maddie, who's your next one?
Yep. I'm gonna go with my second DPS, which I had fun making. It's Tim Burton's Alice from Alice in Wonderland. So her basically she's got the board and all that it out ready to go. But these are her abilities: curious concoctions. Alice can brew strange, unpredictable potions that grant her temporary buffs such as increased movement speed or damage reduction. However, there's a chance the potion could have a negative effect, like reduced damage output or a temporary stun.
Oh.
Number 2.
He's sick.
Huh?
That would
I
be
like
sick
that.
to have a slot machine, basically, is one of your abilities.
Game and Watch's hammer.
This was one of my This is one of my favorite characters that I put together. So her second ability, Alice can create illusionary duplicates of herself that move independently, confusing and distracting enemies. These mirror images can also take damage, drawing fire away from the real Alice or her teammates. She can have up to 3 illusions active at a time. And her third ability, Queen of Hearts Blast. Alice unleashes a powerful magical blast that deals significant damage to all enemies in a wide area. The blast is adorned with the image of the Queen of Hearts. There's a small chance the blast could miss its mark and instead hit an ally, adding a layer of unpredictability to the ability.
Here's the thing: no
And,
one will play
for
this
her
character
ability.
because if they select it, their whole team chat will be like, "Get off, Alice! If you kill me once."
For her ultimate, Madness Manipulation, Alice can tap into the madness of Wonderland, unleashing a chaotic storm of playing cards with other whimsical objects that swirl around her, damaging enemies and potentially knocking them off balance. The cards also have a chance to stun or disorient opponents, making them easier to attack or evade. So with basically 2 of her abilities being slot machines, her ultimate is always guaranteed to help out.
All right,
Yeah.
I like
That's a
it.
yeah.
fun one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that is really fun. I can see
Mandy
it
would
being
main her for sure.
definitely a popular character in quick play, but competitive. Again, going back to if you do an ounce of damage to me, we're kicking you.
Yeah. Well, I was kind of inspired from that Disney villain Queen of Hearts with she's got an ability that like call the shot or something like that. And if you get like 3 cards right, you automatically win or something like that. Berga, do you remember that?
Yeah, in the villainous the board game.
Yeah. So that's kind of where I got the whole slot machine idea from. I just thought that was pretty fun.
It's like the only win condition
has that
where you have
memorized.
to get lucky.
Yeah.
Matthew has that memorized because every time we play that game, he always hogs Queen of Hearts.
Yeah, and he,
No one else gets to play her.
he calls the shot and he gets it first try every time.
It's so fun.
We gotta play that game again.
Yeah.
All right, Berga, you're up.
What do I even need? I need
Another
a tank
Vanguard and a duelist.
DPS. Okay, let me. What Vanguards do I have listed out? Let me see. Oh, this guy is a big guy. Yeah. I'm gonna take Frank from the movie Cars. He's the big combine that chases Lightning and Mater at night. He protects the tractors. So what he's going to be able to do is he'll be able to lower his header, and then as he's hitting you with the header, there's like an overheat mechanic for Frank. So once he overheats, he's got to lift up his header. Then he's going to have an ability where he sucks you up into the header, and he spits you out his straw swath. And it's to his left. Shoots you stage left, and you can get environmental kills with that.
All right.
And then his ultimate ability is going to be called Stampede or Tractor Stampede. Still working on it. And it'll be like a prompt on your screen that's left to right or right to left. A bunch of tractors that go across the screen and deal damage and push people left or right.
Mm-hmm.
So that is Frank the Tank as a tank.
All
That's
right.
actually a good pick. I do like that one. Kind of a niche pick, but I like it.
Hey,
You gotta have the niche characters
yeah,
in there, too.
exactly.
He's not niche. He's made. Hold on. He's not niche because he's made 9 appearances in Disney.
He was in the Tomato Show a lot when they would
No,
flip
like
the
in 9 different
tractors.
properties. He was in Cars. He was in Cars the video game. He was in Mater and the Ghostlight. He was in Cars Mater National Championship. He's in the World of Cars Online. He was in Cars 2, the video game. He was in Connect Rush, a Disney/Pixar adventure. He was in Cars Fast as Lightning, and he was in Cars 3 Driven to Win. So that
I
is
didn't know
not
there were that
niche.
many
Damn.
Cars games.
Yeah, I didn't know either.
No, he was. Remember, Mater had like a little like shorts show on the Disney Channel,
Yeah.
and they had the episode where they were flipping the tractors, and then Frank came out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
got nieces and
That just-
nephews that were watching that.
deep
There's
memory.
one. It's like Mater Tall Tales. There's one where he's like doing
Yeah.
the plot to Tokyo Drift. He's like a street racer. He's all tricked out,
I don't remember that one.
and they're like racing for mods. And the guy at the end that loses, he's like, "No, my mods! I'm gonna be stock." It's pretty
What
fucking.
the fuck?
It's pretty good.
Wait. which movie is that from?
This is in the show Mater Tall Tales. It's one of the tall tales he tells where he was a
That's
street
awesome.
racer in Tokyo.
I do not remember that episode.
All right, Jaylene,
Jesus
who are your
Christ,
last
okay,
2 characters?
I'm gonna take my duelist next, my second duelist, and I'm taking Peter Pan. So some moves for Peter is he can dagger strike, so just use his dagger to hit enemies with. He also has pixie precision, so he uses pixie dust and he lunges towards his enemies and then does a bunch of like fast-paced dagger hits to his enemies. And then he can also use shadow surprise, which will summon his shadow to surprise attack enemies, and then it also does double the damage because it's him and his shadow. And his ultimate is Call to the Lost Boys. So he summons the Lost Boys to charge in the battle and help attack his enemies. So kind of like Squirrel Stampede,
Little boys.
but it's
Little
a bunch of
boys.
little boys.
Or like Tractor Stampede.
Well, for yours, for yours.
What about the tobacco dip he keeps on his person? What about that?
What?
Nothing.
What'd you say?
What about when he
Nothing.
missed his son's baseball
What'd you
game?
say? What?
In the movie Peter Pan, there's a scene that's going through Peter Pan's got a whole like a bottle of tobacco dip in his pocket.
So what?
Oh, yeah,
he
he just
likes
has
the
that.
Xannies.
For fun. Yeah,
Huh?
let him have some Zins. Who cares?
Huh?
And then my last one is my last support, and I'm going to take Rabbit from Winnie the Pooh. So if you don't know like the lore about Rabbit, he's a big gardener. He loves to garden,
Mhm.
but a lot of times he has to deal with pests in his garden. So I kind of took that aspect of his personality to shape him as a support in this game. So his first move here is called Weed Whacker. Just he has a hoe with them, uses it to hit enemies with. Pretty easy.
Hell yeah.
Next we've got Pest Trap. So he can hide traps around the map to surprise enemies with some quick damage, and it also stuns them in the process. Eat Your Vegetables. He throws a variety of homegrown vegetables to his teammates to heal them during the battle. And his ultimate is called Full Garden Harvest. So basically a horde of his homegrown vegetables starts to rain from the sky. As it hits enemies, it causes lots of damage to them. But if it hits his team, it causes extra healing. So dual purpose there.
That's sick.
And those are my characters.
All right. Burr guy, I'm scared to ask you who your last character is, but who's your last duelist?
My last duelist, I actually couldn't really think of like a good one from Cars for my last duelist.
So who is it from Planes?
So I will have to go to a different. No, I have to go to a different movie. Alright. So my last duelist is gonna be Finn McMissile from Cars 2.
I-
He's the spy car that's
Jesus
voiced
fucking
by Michael Caine.
Hell yeah.
Great casting, by the way. He's a 1965 faultless GT, and I'm reading right from the Wikipedia because I forgot to think of what he could do. But he is a spy, so he probably has lots of gadgets.
Mhm.
What if he could see through walls at the enemy team? What if he could disguise himself as the enemy, as one person on the enemy, and just walk around?
Would
And they
actually be
think that-
sick.
Oh, Team Fortress 2 style with the spy?
Burga might
Oh, here we go,
actually
wait.
be cooking with this pick.
Weaponry
Hold
and
on.
gadgets in the wiki. Okay, he shoots missiles. His
Be
name
careful,
is
you may
Finn
find out he
McMissile.
has a shockwave attack.
He has oil launcher, deployable machine guns. He's got a big weapon kit. Like
Yeah.
he's basically he could do
Mm-hmm.
any of the weapons you want to pick. He has a submarine mode. Why would he need that?
If you're on a water map,
Yeah.
might come in handy.
Oh man, and you know what? Instead of like a Punisher ult where it's the miniguns and it lasts forever, it's a Mick missile. His ultimate is he shoots one big ass missile and it's
Hell
like
yeah.
the plasma burst. So yeah,
But
he
better.
does die in Cars 2. They torture him to death.
Didn't get his oil changed in time.
No,
Poor guy.
it was like Guantanamo
Check engine
Bay.
light was on for a little too long.
It was like Guantanamo Bay torture, except in this case, he did actually have the information they were looking for.
Jesus.
That's unfortunate.
Maddie, who's your last character?
Okay, you guys are gonna have to help me with the fucking name because I can never. But it's the voodoo guy from Princess and the Frog, Dr. Facilier.
Is it like Dr. Facilier or
Yeah,
Dr. Fauci?
Yeah, you never say it
I think
right.
Doctor
I think it's Dr. Facilier. So
Doctor Facility.
this is my last support and my last character, Dr. Facilier from The Princess and the Frog. So his three abilities are number 1, Voodoo Possession. Dr. Facilier can possess a single target, taking control of their actions and abilities. While in control, he can deal additional damage and can command the possessed unit to attack other enemies. So basically, if he's taking control of an enemy, he can do extra damage against the opponent's teammates. And number 2, Curse of the Bayou. Dr. Facilier unleashes a dark curse that deals damage time all enemies within a certain radius. And number 3, Shadow Maneuvers. Dr. Facilier becomes temporarily invisible, able to move around the battlefield undetected. During this time, he gains increased movement speed and can strike from the shadows, dealing critical hits to unsuspecting enemies. So he throws those fucking cool-ass cards he's got right at their heads. And for his ultimate, Friends on the Other Side, Dr. Facilier calls upon the powerful spirits of the Loa to grant him and all his allies a temporary boost in damage, speed, and resistance. Additionally, for a short duration, any enemy within a large radius is afflicted with a debuff that makes them more vulnerable to damage.
All right.
Yeah. You've got some cool ones.
Yeah.
Good pick. Yeah.
I thought mine were cool, but yours are pretty cool too.
I wish I would have thought of Frank, to be honest.
Frank the Tank.
All right. So I'm calling another audible just because I think this pick is too fucking funny not to include. It's the 7 dwarves as my final support.
All 7 of them?
But here's the thing.
All as one character?
You switch between the dwarves, and I'll get into that here shortly. So, like, one's always on screen, but you can switch out.
Okay.
Um,
Like Cloak and Dagger.
That's
yeah.
Gotcha, okay.
Their primary
Remind me what their... Wait, remind me what all their names are.
Doc, Happy, Grumpy, Bashful, Sleepy,
Sleepy.
Sneezy, and Dopey.
Easy.
I have them
I
written
didn't think
down.
You would actually know them.
No,
you would.
because I gave them all passive
I
abilities.
Would have got him off the dome.
Okay.
But-
Oh shit, okay.
But essentially, their primary attack is using a pickaxe, and they deal damage, but when they hit enemies, the enemies drop gems that the dwarves can then pick up. Their secondary attack is after they have those gems picked up, they can dish those out to allies to heal them.
Oh, sick.
Then their ability is being able to switch between each dwarf. I'll go through their passive ability. Doc heals more damage. Happy leaves a trail of food which can heal allies. Grumpy deals more damage. Bashful turns invisible when not moving. Sleepy's stuns last longer, but he moves slower. Sneezy has more spread on his attacks. And Dopey moves faster. So then their other abilities. The dwarves throw gems that stun enemies and deal a small amount of damage to them. Their next ability is they host a grand feast that where they drop a bunch of food and then allies can pick up that healing. And finally, their ability, and I will just read this with the note I have written. It's called Whistle While You Work. All 7 dwarves appear and throw an enemy into a minecart, proceeding to beat the shit out of them. They then ride.
That's awesome.
They then ride the minecart a
Picturing,
short distance, leaving a healing trail for allies and damaging any enemies who are hit by the cart.
I'm picturing
That is so cool.
Villagers Ultimate in
Yep.
Super Smash Brothers. They put him in the house and just fuck him
That's
up.
so cool, Tegan. Oh my gosh.
Damn.
I feel like with all our characters,
Oh,
Disney rivals would be more fun than Marvel. So I'm just gonna say that.
my God.
Who would you guys name?
What? Burguy's camera
Oh,
froze.
no.
Accidentally,
Oh, shit.
I kicked the USB port.
At least he's smiling. We got a good smile from him.
Did we have any maps in mind
Yep.
for our game?
I have 3, but are we just pitching one
Only
each?
one each.
We'll just pitch one. We'll do this again. I'm sure we'll get a comment or
Okay.
two telling us why wasn't this person in there. Which if
You forgot to add Prince Charming as a DPS.
you got suggestions, leave them
Fucking
down
hate-
below because we're definitely gonna do this type
Maybe
of
like
video. again.
Sarge. Maybe like Sarge, because he was in the war. He's a big Jeep that you could drive.
I'm surprised you didn't have Doc Hudson.
I thought
Maybe like Chick Hicks.
I was waiting when
about-
Burguy said there's not any. When Burguy said there's not enough Gooner picks, I'm like, oh, he's gonna pick Sally then.
Yep.
I was waiting for Sally.
I want the Hunchback of Notre Dame. That's who I want in it.
Hey,
I almost
Think of 'em
added
for next
what's,
time.
oh, that's right. Okay,
yeah,
sorry.
we'll save.
Let's get to our maps.
Yeah. So I'll start.
Yeah, what map are
Oh,
we playing
sorry.
on?
I
Second,
ruined one of
first map.
mine already. Sorry.
The map I thought of was the Scream Factory in Monsters Inc.
Ooh, that's a good
Ooh.
one.
All the doors teleport you
Yeah.
around?
Every now and again, the doors are replaced, and then there's different areas you can go in. The spawn areas are different doors, so It can kind of be a bit crazy at times because some of the areas will be smaller that it leads you to, but overall, I think that'd be a really cool map concept.
That would be fun.
That would be a good like free for all map. Like
Yeah.
we have Doom Match.
Yeah. All right, Maddie, what's your map?
Hey, who's next, Maddie?
I have two, and it's really hard to pick between.
Flip a coin.
But I'll go with Maleficent's castle.
Okay,
Okay.
that's a good pick. That's fun.
Yeah.
I can almost guess what Burguy's is gonna be.
Yeah, I was. There's like a lot of like iconic areas in Disney. There's not really one as fleshed out as like Radiator Springs. You've got the dirt track. You've got the cozy cone. You've got Guido and Luigi's tire shop.
Honestly,
Like-
I almost expected him to pick something else, just out of like the curveball at the very end.
Think about
Yeah,
it. Think about a payload map where you're pushing the payload and it's the thing that paves the road. And you have to pave the whole road to win the match.
ooh,
You sold me.
That'd
That's
be pretty
fun.
fun.
You sold me. All right. I will say though, before
I'm with
Jalen,
Maddie.
You pick. I did think of Radiator Springs as a map idea, so
It's a, unironically though, it
It's a
is a
good one.
cool area.
it is.
It'd be cool to
Yeah.
play around in there. Hide in the cones.
I'm with Maddie. I've got two that I'm really fond of, but I just think it would be really
Do we want to say
cool
two maps
is,
then? Just because we're not going into
Yeah,
super
the second
detail.
one ready.
Two. Let's say two.
Brian's gonna do some googling. Should I say both mine then? Are we still
Yeah.
doing the snake order?
Yeah.
So my first one, obviously, is Neverland from Peter Pan. There's just a lot of iconic spots in
Mhm.
Neverland. I think it'd be fun. I would love to see like Captain Hook like running from an alligator in the background as you're battling people. You've got Skull Rock. You've got definitely unproblematic characters in that world. So I just think it would be fun.
Question: what happens if Pocahontas
and then-
plays on that map?
Ugh. My next map idea is Andy's room from Toy Story.
Ooh.
So
Wow.
basically, you're like the size of Andy's toys, like just battling in his room.
Classic.
So I was thinking like what is it, Toy Story 2 or 3, where he does like the train? They do the train scene, and then you find out it's him just playing with his toys. Like that would be fun.
I think that's
Just like
the
that scale
opening
ratio.
to two. It's been a
Yeah,
while
one of
since
them.
I've watched Toy
Yeah.
Story.
So yeah, so you're like going under Andy's bed and through the shelves and stuff. I think it would be fun.
All right. Burguy, did you find another location in Cars?
Yeah, I think a cool one would be the Los Angeles International Speedway. That's where they settled the three-way tie in the Cars movie. And I think for this one map, there's a different commentator. It's Bob Cutlass, the guy who commentates the race, and Daryl Cartrip would commentate. And then you could
It's his
go.
name in the movie, Daryl Cartrip.
Yeah. And Bob Cutlass
Okay.
instead of Bob Costas.
I didn't even catch that one. Okay,
Oh my god.
I gotta rewatch Cars.
And you're not just bound to the track. You can go in the infield with the RVs. You can drive in the stands, down the tunnels in the stands, by the popcorn vendors. It's not just the one big. That'd be boring.
Mm-hmm.
It's like you could go in and out. It's kind of like when you're playing Warzone on the old map, and you can go into the soccer field,
Mhm.
and you can also go in the tunnel and all that. It would be cool, like a cool big like sports arena
Yeah.
that you could be, and then you got Bob Costas and Daryl Cartrip commentating.
I'm sold on this
Hell yeah.
Cars DLC.
I'm thinking of a new game actually. What if it's just Cars? We forget all the other Disney movies. What if it's just Cars?
Cars Rivals.
Because we haven't even got to like Chick Hicks or like the owner of Dynamo or like Strip Weathers. We haven't even touched this. We haven't scratched the surface.
We haven't even touched the Planes universe side of things.
No, and I haven't even talked about the Grand Prix. All the people that race in the Grand Prix.
That's
Maddie,
when
I
you get
think
to
you
like
need to do
naming
your next
pod
map
racers.
pick.
Like, how don't you know him? Droopy McCool. Everyone's favorite.
Maddie, I think you need to share your next pick ASAP.
Okay.
I'm learning too much about the Cars universe here.
You know
Okay,
they got
so
Dale
what-
Earnhardt Jr. in there too.
That is true, yeah.
As an Easter egg or something.
But
And he's got a
in the-
cameo.
He races in the first race. You can see him. And
Gotcha.
then I think he spectates the tiebreaker.
All right, Maddie, what's your
Alright,
last map?
Next map. That would be a good one.
All right. So you know how in Marvel Rivals,
Oh. Just a
You
minute.
cut out on my
Yeah,
end.
you cut out.
okay, so you know in Marvel Rivals when you're doing the payload mission, it's got the checkpoints
Hmm.
on the map. So I think what would be cool for a map is the entire map of Fantasia. At each checkpoint, it changes.
Okay.
So
Alright.
where all the scenes take place in Fantasia, you'll go through those scenes in the game. Not all at once, obviously, but if you happen to get the Fantasia map like a second time, it'll randomly choose scenes from Fantasia based on what checkpoints you're
All
on.
right. I like it.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Maddie and I are going to lead the charge on the Fantasia DLC, I think.
Okay.
All right. And my last map
All right, Tegan, your last map.
to send us home. Magic Kingdom. Magic Kingdom.
The like in real life
That was
Disney
on-
park.
Yeah. With
Okay.
That was on my list, but I didn't know if that was a cop out.
I will leave it up to you guys because it could be one of those
No, I'm fine
payload
with it.
ones where you have to get it to Cinderella's
Well,
castle.
Is Bob Iger there?
Yeah, he makes an appearance.
Okay.
You're actually
That would-
delivering the payload to him.
And it's
I
a big
think that
paycheck.
would be-
It's
Yeah.
a big bonus for running the company so well, even though Disney Plus subscribers are down 15%.
I think that would be fun, but then like the payload route is just like the parade route.
Yeah, exactly.
It's
Oh,
basically
yeah.
just the parade.
Raise your hand if you were in the parade. No. you were in the parade. You did not play Born to Be Wild at twice the speed.
Well, that was such a fun time. Such a fun time.
This was a
We were
fun
going
time.
Way too fast.
All right, let us know in the comments who you would main in Disney Rivals. Let us know what characters we forgot, and let us know if you want us to do this again. Because spoiler alert, we're gonna do this again.
And airdrop this video to Bob Iger.
Yeah,
You know him.
I'll receive a cease and desist letter in my mailbox from Disney. Hey, you can't say the dwarves are beating the shit out of people. No, this was a lot of fun, though. Be sure to click
Oh yeah.
like and subscribe. Click the bell as well.
Hit the bell.
Bye, everybody.
See ya.
Bye.
I'm gonna